The Power Pod is an exclusive WSB radio production.
We really are so different. I mean, you know, when I look over at like Randy's big old head over there.
Jared, I was just about to fire you up, man.
This is The Power Pod with Randi Okray, Christina Aicklen, Nicole Bennett, and your host, WSB's Jared Yamamoto.
Yeah, that's right. You're listening to The Power Pod, and I am Jared Yamamoto from the Von Haessler Doctrine. You can hear me every day on WSB Radio in Atlanta from 9 to noon on that show, the Von Haessler Doctrine. And this is The Power Pod. This is a show where we get a chance to loosen things up a little bit, cover the current events of the week. We're not afraid to have a little bit of fun, but we're also not afraid to get serious at the same time, too. But I would never do this show by myself. I want to surround myself with lovely ladies. I've got the lovely Randi O over there. Randi, how are you doing this week?
Well, lovely and beautiful, but I'm doing great, darling. How are you, Jay?
You know what? I want to get to the pool party that we went to last week with you. That was a lot of fun. And we'll definitely get to it later in the show.
Awesome.
A blast. It was good hanging out with you on the weekend. I see Nicoleo over there. Nicoleo, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
You know what? I'm having a good week. And I see Christina over there just hanging out. She's having a good time. She's not giggling or smirking or anything.
She's
I can't
doing anything.
She's very stern this week.
Very serious today.
I'm very serious. You know what? It's probably because we're in the absolute big boy studio here at WSB, which is the main talk studio. As I've said before on the Power Pod, there are hundreds of production rooms, hundreds of studios for all the different shows in the building, and we just had to kick everybody out. We told Mark Aram, you know, when he got done earlier tonight, we said, hey, you know what, we're in here tonight. This is the Power Pod's time. We've got a weekly recap show, and we've got things to talk about. And you know what? The first thing I need to talk about is with you three women here. I have to admonish you for something. For us being a current events show, we missed 3 huge news stories last week. And that all came out almost on the same night. On Wednesday last week, we had a new Stanley Cup champion.
It's rattled on around and Krug up with it, and the Blues at the bench are realizing that they are going to be champions. 10 seconds to go. The longest wait for a first title any team in this league has had.
Come on, Randy. You know you're loving it.
Never.
You know you're loving the NHL. And just like that, the St. Louis Blues became NHL champions.
What is HL?
NHL, National Hockey League.
Oh, hockey.
Stanley Cup champs.
Okay.
The other big story that we missed was the Toronto Raptors winning the NBA title.
And it's a team from Toronto, Canada. We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors are 2019 NBA champs.
And the most important story, if you're not following Major League Baseball, there's this phenom named Jordan Yamamoto who's playing for the Miami Marlins now, and he is just tearing it up in Major League Baseball. Listen to this.
Swing and a miss, struck him out. 1-2-3 for Yamamoto.
He is tearing it up in Major League Baseball. And you know what? This is one of the disadvantages of working with 3 women here.
Hold up.
These are 3 sports stories that are gigantic, and you guys failed to bring it up in the last couple of shows. What is going on?
Well, just
why
to
are
be
we doing?
clear, sir, okay, are you not our fearless alleged leader? Shouldn't you have brought that up?
Listen, you know what? You guys want to talk about all these fashion trends and all these musics and all these new songs that are coming out. And you know what? Just for punishment this week, I'm going to punish all 3 of y'all this week. You know what? We're going to start off with President Trump's story. Because you know what? He announced his re-election campaign on Tuesday night.
Tonight, I stand before you to officially launch my campaign for a second term as President of the United States. By the way, on July 4th in Washington, D.C., come on down. We're going to have a big day. Bring your flags.
Big day.
Bring those flags.
Own it.
Bring those American flags. July 4th, we're going to have hundreds of thousands of people. We're going to celebrate America. Sounds good, right? July 4th.
July 4th apparently is a new...
Celebrate America.
Oh, sorry, President Trump. July 4th apparently is a new holiday. I didn't realize that we're going to be celebrating this year. Did you guys know that we celebrate July 4th
What's
every
July
year?
4th?
Yeah, I didn't know, but President Trump was sure to let us know when he announced his re-election campaign in Orlando at the Amway Center on Tuesday night. You know what?
Is it going to be huge?
It was huge.
Come on, I love the invitation of the voice.
Apparently, there were 100,000 people that tried to get into that building.
Whoa,
and,
wow.
and, the Amway Center is an old building. It only seats 20,000 people.
Oh, wow.
But here's my thing. Listen, I don't care whether you love or you hate President Trump. Why do you have to announce that you're running for re-election? Didn't we all kind of know that the entire time? Didn't we know that he was running for president?
Kind of obvious to me.
Well, that's what I was going to say is I feel like his first 4 years have just been a campaign for the next 4 years. That's what I thought.
That's what I thought too. But you know what? Some people apparently didn't get that message.
And now we know.
Listen to this protester outside of the arena. This lady was not happy about the announcement.
In his actions and policies, he has awoken a beast in our country, giving a platform to unimaginable kinds of hatred. But he started his campaign in the wrong city because we will not tolerate it.
Okay, all right.
Oh, what city was that?
All right.
I want to celebrate July 4th.
Yeah, I don't want to celebrate any holiday or grab drinks with this woman anywhere or bring up politics anytime. So you know what? President Trump announced his re-election campaign. Good for him. We kind of already knew it was happening. And you know what? That wasn't that bad of a punishment, right? To start off with a little politics and sports, right? It wasn't that
you know
bad.
better.
It's okay. You put us down, and then you throw in the Trump story. So, I mean, it's,
Yeah, it's not too bad, right?
we're on a good start. We're off to a good
great.
start.
Good. And I know Randio's got a good story for me.
Yeah,
I know
that.
I know that she's got an important story that she's going to start off the Power Pod
It
with.
is very important.
It's
because you know why it's so
headline
important?
news, right?
It's for the ladies, Jared. That's why it's important. So guess what, girls? Okay. Have you all heard of the flamingo pose?
I have been seeing
You've
that.
heard it?
on
What
my
in the
feed.
world?
I'm sorry, what was that,
The
Jared?
flamingo
The
pose?
flamingo pose. So
This is a thing?
It is a thing. So to give our listeners a virtual visual or something of some sort.
Virtual.
So
Do I
think
put
of-
on some goggles or something like
Yeah.
that? when I-
Jared, my story, okay? Thank you. Anyway, so pretty much you're gonna be standing up, like looking all cute, and then you lift one of your legs, like a flamingo, and then you just stand there and grace pretty. And so to me, it's the new trend. Beyonce's been doing it. Jenners has been doing it. Nicole, you don't care? Okay.
No, I'm no.
Nicole just
Nicole's
showed her
like,
like,
next. Thank you, next.
and okay. But like I said, when I looked at
I was
my
like, that
Instagram-
wasn't in my wedding photos.
when I was in my Instagram, though, I noticed I had a couple like
I
flamingo
saw a couple,
poses, and I didn't
too.
even know. What about y'all?
No, I was going to say if the Queen is doing it, then we
Oh.
should all get on board.
Come on now, she's
That's
talking
how
about
I feel
Beyonce.
about it. Yes.
Okay,
that's
come
what
on.
I'm
So
referring to.
Tina, you work in the fashion world. Is this really a thing?
I have seen a couple of Instagram influencers doing this flamingo.
Flamingo pose. So
It's very flattering.
is
Don't
it-
you want to look good on Instagram? Don't you want to look good on your, on your feed?
Well, is it socially appropriate for a man to do it
I
too?
would like to see you do the flamingo.
Actually, you
really
could do it, Jared. Lean up against the wall, put your cool leg up. You got this.
Okay, all right. I'm kind of doing it now here in the big studios. Is that
Engage
am I
your
doing it right?
your
Is
look
this how I do it?
Fix your
You
face,
gotta lift your leg up
maybe.
a little more.
So just to kind of describe things a little bit, I'm putting my.
Have
I'm
you been
putting,
stretching?
I've been putting. I need to stretch out a little bit. I'm
Yikes.
putting
You're
my
looking a
leg
little tense.
on the chair behind me.
No, you can't use the chair.
I am as stiff as can be. We have a live studio audience, so they are
know.
cracking up. They're
This
laughing
is,
at me in the background.
gonna
I am
need-
butchering the flamingo pose.
Yes, you
You're
are.
gonna need some work.
And Randy, you're the person I trust most with these Instagram trends. So this is a
you.
real thing. This is something that people are actually doing.
It is. And the reason why they want to do it because as far as what I'm noticing, it elongates your legs. Your legs look nice, right? And then when you're bringing your knee up, you're kind of raising up your chest, giving yourself a natural breast uplift, right? Okay. So all of that just makes you.
And that's
aesthetic.
important, right?
Of course. Who doesn't want a nice rack? But anyway, so I just think overall it's great, and I'm going to continue to do so. So join in.
Well, the flamingo pose. Okay, so yay or nay on the Power Pod crew? Are we about it, Nicole?
I say yay.
Okay.
Elongate those legs, baby.
All right,
it.
I'm gonna do it too. I'm gonna put my foot back on the chair while
Not on the
Nicole.
chair.
While
Jared,
Nicole,
you're gonna
you
fall
give me a
over.
story while I try to stretch myself out here
All
and
right,
try to get this
well.
flamingo pose going here. Okay, go ahead.
So my story is about a good old dad bod trend. And I know it's been a thing since 2016, just about.
Yeah.
I love a good dad bod. How do you guys feel?
Hell
How
no.
do you define
No?
a dad bod?
Well, okay, so Planet Fitness took a
Oh wow.
survey.
Okay, Planet Fitness. Yeah. Okay.
But
the
isn't
person
that
where it's
fascinating?
healthy at any size that we don't video anybody when they're doing anything inside the gym. Come on now. This is this sounds like a promotion to get people inside their gym.
I think it's more about self-acceptance
Come on now,
than
there
it
we go.
is anything else.
Now-
That's how I feel.
Now, why are you about the dad bod? What do you like about it?
I think that it's a subconscious thing. It's the lifestyle for me. I'm not really a gym person, so I'm not attracted to someone who goes to the gym.
So you like man boobs? Is that what you like? Is that a thing that you like?
Man rack.
A man rack? I like
Randy
it.
pointed out.
Okay.
Yeah,
is that something? A man's chesticles? Is that what you go for?
Absolutely.
Chesticles?
When you're looking for it?
Where did you hear this?
Tina, you are silent about this. I mean, how do you feel about these dad
Well, I
about
wanted
the
to hear
dad
what Nicole had to say. I would love to hear what Randy would have to say, but I would have to agree.
She's trying to get out of it.
I like a happy medium. I don't want someone who's, I'm
Right.
going to drink my protein shake, and I'm going to the gym, I'm lifting weights, and then I'm going to eat broccoli for dinner. No, I'm not going to
We're
date you.
so
Sorry,
Tina.
that's not cute to me. Let's go to McDonald's. Let's go to Cookout Tray. You know what I'm saying?
Randy, you're in the minority on this one. I mean, you were like, hell no at the
I
beginning there.
Okay, so like the dad bod, okay, like it's super unflattering. First of all, you're a man. You shouldn't have boobies, okay? And then I feel like a lot of times the dad bod, they have like little beer belly. Listen, dads out there, listen, you can hate me today. I'll take that. But I don't think that's aesthetically pleasing.
So you think there needs to be a happy medium.
And that's your prerogative. And that, at the end of the day, was my takeaway, is that we say what you will about millennials, but we're more confident now just accepting who we're attracted to, not because we're told, hey, that person's attractive, but because we find them sexy and cool and confident.
So you don't think this is just a secret ad by Planet Fitness to get all of us to sign up for memberships because, they accept all body types and all types of people at their gyms? I know that the gym that I go to, there's a major problem. I tweet about it all the time. People are just doing the most obnoxious things, and if they could just stop, whether it's spending too much time on the equipment, tweeting, Facebooking, Instagramming, or there's this. The latest thing that I'm noticing is when people are lifting weights and they're doing the barbell, right? There's this attachment for your phone. I don't know if y'all have seen this or not.
What gym is this?
This is in LA Fitness, which I'm not hating on LA Fitness. I like LA Fitness. I think it's fine. I'm not going to say the location of it because I don't want to call people out. But this gym in particular, there's a couple of dudes especially that have this attachment that they attach to the middle of the barbell, and what they do is they attach their phone at the top, and I don't know if they're live streaming to Twitch or if they're live streaming to Instagram Live or what, but they make it a point to, as they're straining their hearts out, this is a rep 30 right here. All right, here we go. Rep 40. We're loving this right now. Come on, man. We're live streaming this thing. And I'm just like, I'm over here. I go
over there tweeting as it's happening.
I go to the barbells. I go and I get my little mat and I try to stretch out a little bit. I'm like, okay, don't mind me while I stretch out in the background, working on my flamingo pose. Don't mind me over here in the corner. But when people are live streaming, the thing that I notice the most is that they're really straining too. I don't know if that's attractive to you ladies or not.
No.
When you hear a man, going, ugh!
No, it's not.
so loud.
Totally
Actually, that's
unattractive.
kind of doing.
Nicole maybe thought about it
the entire time. So at least we know that we're split on dad bods. I almost called it man bods there, but we're split on dad bods. We will take a break here on the Power Pod, and we will get into even more stuff.
The Power Pod on WSB Radio. Join the show at 800 WSB Talk or leave a comment using the open mic feature on the WSB Radio app.
And we're back here on the Power Pod, and I just had to pull Nicole out of the WSB hallway because she was looking at some more dad bods. I'm not going to say who it is out there in the hallway, but you know what? I had to pull her away because Randy stayed in the studio. She's like, you know what? There's no dad bods in this studio, and she needed to make sure that everything was okay. But Tina, I know you've got a cool story over there. What's going on in your world?
I have got a stinky story for you, Jared. A product that is really sweeping up the charts. I don't even know if that's a phrase, but really just ripping off the stands in stores is this beautiful, beautiful piece of underwear called the charcoal underwear pads. And would you like to know what they're used for?
I would love to know what they're used for.
So we all fart, right?
I
Who's
pooped. I
gonna-
don't fart.
Yeah, or toot.
Jared.
This is you know what? Listen, we have listeners of all ages listening to the Power Pod, and I cannot believe that you would use the F word like that.
I'm just telling you about a product that is really doing well right now.
I
in the
hope that
market.
you are citing that article when you say the F word like that, because that is just inappropriate for the Power Pod and all of those in the Power Up fam.
I would like to hear if you guys would like to use this product. Okay?
Tell me about these
It's
gassy
basically
underwear.
a boy short that has a charcoal lining in the appropriate part that you can imagine. And it basically blocks any odors. It traps the odor. And I'm kind of using the motion here. But yeah, so you let it slip and it ain't gonna... No one's gonna smell it.
What?
Is it flamingo pose approved? Like, I mean,
Can you, like, drop the flamingo, sir?
I mean, would it still work? Would it still cover the right area?
No guarantees, but there is statistics say that we fart. Sorry, I just said the word again. About 15 times average daily.
Really?
Does not surprise me, especially you
Never
ladies.
count it.
You ladies, you guys are
you
discreet
men are
about that.
worse.
You guys,
Gassy
you
men.
guys go over to the corner of there. Oh, I don't know who did that. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, that was uncanny.
Yeah.
It sounded just like us.
It did. It did. You know what? Honestly, that's what I've heard since I see you guys both at different times of the day. When Nicole and Randy walk away, excuse me. Oh my God.
Ladies don't
Jared,
fart. It's fairy
I sit
dust.
right beside you, homeboy, and I'd be like, what's that? And he'd be having his headphones on, smiling. I'm like, Jared, well, you're sad.
Hey, listen. At least I feel at home when I'm around you. That's just my way of saying hello to you. When I come in,
disgusting.
when you come into the office later in the afternoon.
Smells like home.
Jared, I'm getting you this for Christmas so you don't stink up the newsroom.
Now, I have a question though. Are they targeting men or are they targeting women with this
Oh,
product?
it's all genders.
All
I've
genders.
seen photos. If you'd like to, just give it a quick Google.
How does it work? So is it like odor blocking, or like how does it like? Does it say how it works?
It says it's a safe material. The fabrication is just like a normal boy short underwear, and the charcoal lining just slips right in there.
I think it's probably a good product because I know when I'm, going out to bars and the clubs in the weekend and I go into the men's restroom, one of the things that you notice when you're lining up at the urinal and you're about doing your business is, the dudes are just ripping it in there.
They're farting while they're standing up.
Oh,
using the
yeah.
bathroom.
While we're standing at the urinal, man, people are just ripping them left and right.
Master the art of the walking fart, where you don't wait until you get to a concentrated area. Just walk around.
You know what? But that's just a sign, though, that chivalry still exists because the fact that these men are walking into the restroom to, relieve themselves in more ways than one. They don't want to do it in front of y'all. And I just wanted to know in the women's restroom, I'm sure that happens at the same time, right?
Even at work, like just want to know some women
Calling people out.
Some women ladies do it, or they'll try to lift their legs up so that nobody's there. Right. You hear all this. You're like, girl, who is that?
Ladies sit down to use the restroom, number one. And so sometimes it just
it does. It surprises you.
Yeah.
In the morning, especially. You're like,
On that note,
I'm gonna sit down.
On that note, we are crossing so many lines here on the Power Pod. We have to take a break. We've got some special guests coming up. I can't wait to talk to them. You'll get a chance to hear from them in just a few minutes.
From Atlanta to beyond, it's the Power Pod.
And I don't know how I'm going to be able to come back from stinky underwear to house cleaning here on the Power Pod. There are a couple of things we need to address. Next week was kind of a special week. We're going to be doing our normal show, which comes out every Thursday in whatever feed that you listen to. We are on 1,000 different podcast providers. So if you listen on those, you'll get a chance to hear our normal show next week. But then the following week, we'll be doing our Independence Week special. So what we're looking for is we're going to be talking about some traditions and things that we normally do during that week, whether it's, driving to Alabama and buying fireworks and bringing them back here, or whether you go to a specific place or not. I know that it's going to be a different show for Independence Week. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know I'm super patriotic, and we're going to have a lot of fun on the Power Pod that week. And if you have a story out there that you want to share, a tradition or if you have something that you do every single 4th of July, we want to hear from you using the WSB Radio open mic feature. Download the WSB Radio app. We'll play your tradition on the air, and we're going to have all kinds of stories, I want to hear recipes, food.
Oh, I got the recipes for you.
I love the food. I know that we have one Power Pod listener that emailed. I think her name is Emily, and she said that she has run the Peachtree Road Race 20 years in a row, which is on the 4th of July
No thanks.
in Atlanta, on arguably the hottest day of the year.
Yeah.
I have never run it. I have no desire to run it, but I want to hear stories like that. I mean,
props to you, Emily. Wow.
So bravo to them. So if you want to email the show with your traditions, our email is powerpodwsb@gmail.com, or use the open mic feature on the WSB radio app. But you know what? We're going to go from stinky underwear to local art here in Atlanta.
Georgie Pooh, are we expecting guests?
Yes, we are, Randy-O. Now let's see who it is.
I am so excited for this. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm kind of an art snob in a way. When I first moved from college to Atlanta and had my first big boy job here at WSB, one of the things that I made it a point to do was in my first apartment was to support local artists all around town, whether they went to the Savannah College of Art and Design, SCAD, or whether they went to KSU, Georgia State. I would try my best to support these artists because a lot of times, I mean, there's brilliant work out there, and these artists are just trying to, get their feet wet. They're trying to make their way into the world. And I mean, I've bought art for as low as $10, $15 to as high as $60 just because of how much value I saw in the work. And I just happened to find two awesome artists. One of them being a huge fan of the Von Hessler Doctrine and the Power Pod. It's a lady with more names than Nicole Bennett over here.
Wow.
We refer to her as Chelsey Dubinator on the Von Hessler Doctrine, but you have 100 other names. How are you doing, Chelsey?
I'm good. How are you, Jared?
What is the name of your new art deal now?
Well, I have an Instagram. It is @Cheru Arts.
Okay, and so then this is where you do local Atlanta art. You actually threw me the idea about this because you wanted, for the Von Hessler Doctrine to feature weird Atlanta art like that. I love the idea. I think that we'll be able to do stuff like that on the Doctrine and here on the Power Pod. But you're not alone. There's so many artists out there. We could only fit two of them in the studio at one time. We've got Stephanie Gentry over there. How are you doing? Good to see you.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Of course. We're happy that you're here. And you've been in the Atlanta art scene for a while now. You graduated from the Savannah College of Art and Design, SCAD.
Yes.
For those, obviously those that are in Atlanta are like, oh, we know what that is. But we have listeners all over the place that might not know what it is. And tell people exactly what you do out there. I mean, it's a strange, not a strange living, but it's a unique living,
yes,
right?
It's very unique. I would definitely call it unique.
For sure.
But yes, I graduated from SCAD back in 2012, and I graduated in fashion design. And I first started out with the clothing brand, and I fell in love with the illustration process of clothing design. And I really wanted to basically just bring that to the people, which is what I'm currently doing now as a live fashion illustrator. And basically what I do is I illustrate, say, like, Jared, if you were to walk up to me, like right now,
Hey, Stephanie, how are you? What's going on?
What a goober.
I could illustrate you as a fashion illustration.
Oh,
I would love to see
really?
that. Yes.
You know what? I selfishly want to see that too.
Right.
I mean,
And he would put it on his wall at his house.
After
too.
hearing all this dad bod talk earlier in the show, I don't know if I might be a little afraid to see myself in a sketch like that. I'm very self-conscious, Stephanie. That's what it is.
It's all right. I make everyone look like models. So.
I like that.
Yes.
So you specifically focus on people, then, right? Not objects. Like, see, I'm an art major. I can tell this, right? There are people that focus on objects and places and locations, and there are people that focus on humans, and that's what you like to do, right?
Absolutely. I focus on humans. I have done
Not aliens, right?
Not aliens. I've done humans with pets, though, which is really fun.
Okay. All right. So humans with little aliens.
Yes. I did an event called Doggies on the Catwalk recently.
Oh.
And it was raising money for service dogs. And I illustrated, like...
I love it.
Yes, it was so fun. And everybody had these, like, cute little dogs. And I illustrated them as a fashion sketch going down the runway with their little puppy.
Oh.
It was so fun.
Now, Chelsey, so do you... Okay, now that we know that there's a focus on what art people do you focus focus on the actual physical human form, or do you focus on animals? Like what style of art do you usually do?
That's a great question. I think my favorite thing to draw would probably be the human face.
Okay.
'Cause I like the symmetry, and I think that it's fascinating how different everyone is, but at the same time, we're very similar.
Yeah, I mean, we really are so different. I mean, when I look over at like Randy's big old head over there.
Jared, I was just about to fire you up, man.
So I mean, so what do you do when you've got Randy's got a very petite little body and a big old head? So how
fight you. Ignore him, Chelsey.
So how do you draw something like that? What do you do?
Well, I draw mostly commissions for my friends right now, and I also mainly just draw for myself. I think it's something that I need to do every day. It's like a practice, like meditation or yoga or going for a walk with my dog. And it's just something I think that is important to have in everyone's day-to-day life, because it can
just art in general, right?
Absolutely art in general.
I wanted to kind of piggyback as Jared. I remember you mentioned when you're describing Chelsey that she does weird art. So what is weird art? Like, what's an example of weird art?
Weird art. Oh, what is weird art? Weird art can be anything and everything. I think it's a perception thing and it's an opinion thing, which is beautiful because we can make it our own.
Okay, all right. Art, very artist spoken.
I remember I had an art professor back in school that always said that art is anything that the human mind finds value about. So anybody's perspective on art can change just like that. So focusing on human faces, though, like, do you focus on like the cheekbone or like or what the eyes? I mean, what is the main focus?
That's such a good question. I think I focus on the eyes the most, and I think I focus the least on things like hair and skin color.
Really?
I focus the most on the similarities. If I could draw everybody with like a yellow toned skin color, I would do that because...
Well, like a Simpsons kind of thing?
Yeah, basically. Weird art. Basically, or like emojis.
Okay. Hey, emojis are awesome. I know that you were handing out, before the show, you were handing out this image to all of the Power Pod crew.
I got a kitty cat.
I have a bunny.
I didn't get anything.
Oh, I got you something.
She's got the Barney bag over there. What she's gonna pull out of there?
Well, she can pick today. I gotta bring more next time.
Right now, I'm assuming these are things that you've drawn yourself.
Yes, actually.
They really are beautiful.
The sticky tongue. Is this a sticker? Oh, thank you, Chelsey.
I love the color and I love the detail on the kitty's face.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now, Stephanie, so again, you're focusing on humans.
Mm-hmm.
How much emphasis do you put on the face like that? I mean, obviously, we've seen some of Chelsea's work, and she's really close up, like heads and face, pretty much. I mean, how much of that do you do in your line?
It's pretty stylized for me. But I do try to capture like your hair, for example, like, you have like a
flyaways or something.
Well,
I don't know.
A stylish haircut.
Sorry.
And then like, maybe your color or the style then like maybe like if you have like facial features or something, I'll put...
I mean, so like a mustache?
Yeah.
I mean, you're right over here.
Jared's a little bit there.
Something, but mostly it's about the outfit. So
okay,
it's more like just a sentimental like illustration or moment, I guess, that we're creating with like the fullness of who you are.
Now, how long does a work like that take? I mean, I know you can't really put a time on art, but
right.
It just I'm just curious.
Yes.
Like, I mean, if you've got a deadline, I mean, obviously the real world does hit art like that. I mean, you have deadlines. I mean, how often? We'll start with you, Stephanie, about it. How often does it, or how long does it take you to finish a project like that?
Well, just a simple illustration can actually only take me from 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay, good. Like
Really?
the characters,
Like a
real fast.
caricature, pretty much. But I'm reinventing caricature. So.
Okay.
Love it.
I'll brag on my cousin Stephanie for a second. You have done a couple of illustrations for me. A couple of my friends have gotten married, and Stephanie has sketched their wedding gown in full detail, like the lace, the beautiful body, like the entire dress to a T, and they've been very happy with it. So it's very unique, and she's just so talented. So
And her nails are really pretty, by the way. I love those nails.
Thank you. I love ombre.
Yes,
Ombre's one of
nails
my
on
favorites.
fleek.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Chelsey, how long does it take for you to complete a project like that? Out of curiosity.
Not that fast.
Okay, all right.
That's the skill of a professional right there, absolutely. I would say maybe 15, 30 minutes.
15 to 30 minutes?
Okay.
That's still pretty good.
That's impressive.
Yes.
I could still barely draw. I mean, anything. I mean, I've tried my best to, draw cats. I've done.
Yeah, we saw.
I think what sparked a lot of the, honestly, probably this interaction here is on the von Hessler doctrine. I was doing a turkey contest with Tim Andrews, who is the man of 1,000 voices on the von Hessler doctrine, and he is an incredible artist. Honestly, we should have brought him in here too, just so that way you could see his sketches. Yeah. I mean, it's just a whole different part of the brain that I just don't have. I mean, I'm a fairly creative person, but when it comes to art, I don't know what happened. Maybe I just was dropped on my head as a baby, and I just don't have it. So I drew this picture of my hand. Remember when you were in kindergarten, you do the hand turkey like that, and I drew it, and we did a little contest, and that's what got Chelsey involved. Chelsey submitted one of her own versions of it, which was really great. We ended up using her copy on the von Hessler doctrine.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
showing our turkey. That's beautiful.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you see the Ben Franklin features on the actual turkey. He's got a little kite and his glasses. And
Chelsey, that's awesome.
Eventually,
Thank you so much.
Eventually, we're going to get to a point where if Eric ever decides to write his own book, I keep making the push that, hey, if you do a children's book, it's relatively easy. And I mean, we've seen what other radio hosts have done, like Rush Limbaugh. Whether you love him or hate him, he has Rush Revere, which is about a horse that rides all around and talks about American history from a certain perspective. Mm-hmm. And I just think it would be interesting to get artists in on it. I don't think that you could do an entire book with just one artist, right? I mean, I have no idea how that process works. I mean, do you guys have it? I mean, would you just enlist one artist, or do you need somebody, or does it need to be the same person the entire way through?
I don't really know how to answer that question.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, so when I think about children's books, right? A lot of times the sketches are very similar from page to page.
Right.
But one of the things that I've noticed though is that they're not identical. I can tell that it's not the same artist, and obviously you read in the back, you can cheat. You can see there were multiple artists there. So I guess you just have to find somebody with the same type of design like that. So maybe in the future, if we decide to do something like that, we could enlist the two of you guys to help us out with this project. Because I mean, this Turkey Franklin that Chelsey drew over here is incredible.
Yes.
I would be honored.
Yeah, I would love to do that. That would be so much fun. I'm actually currently working on a project like that.
A children's book? Can you talk about it?
It's actually an adult coloring book.
An adult coloring book?
That is a new trend.
Yes.
That is a trend. Like that'd be great.
So, and it's just of my fashion illustrations, just black and white images. I think I might no, I don't think I have one in here, but I do have
now remember,
fashion
Stephanie, it's an audio medium, so you got to describe what it is that you're showing people. We hear the book moving.
I have a book over here, and they're just designs of my fashion
as she turns through the pages.
And some of them, like these, this is one that would be in the book, but it's just how I colored it.
And so what we're looking at, it's a woman with a dress with sunflowers. It's another woman with a white-looking pantsuit and some pumps, and a flower in her hand as well.
Mm-hmm.
See, now if you guys just combine forces right there, notice how the faces are blocked in both of these pictures. If Chelsey came and drew the faces on top of that, hey, you guys might have something over here. Look at this! Look at this teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
Now, are both of you guys able to do this full time? I've always wanted to know that. I have a couple friends that are artists that do it full time. Do you guys do it first? Go ahead, Stephanie.
I actually do it full time. I quit my job 2 years ago because I could not maintain the workload from my job and doing all of these contracted positions. So I just get contract work, and I do it pretty much once or twice a week, and then the rest of the time I'm illustrating at home.
Well, good for you for being able to find a path to do it like that. And Chelsey, do you do it full time, or are you? I mean, it's a hard line of work to do full time for sure.
Right now, it is just a part-time thing because I am a part-time dog walker with WAG. But I would love to make it full-time if I could.
And wait, her dog that she adopted, also, like, what was you adopted him from where? Or
from Paws Atlanta.
Oh, her little doggy is so cute. So I just want to give a shout out to that. But I have a question just on an artistry level.
Of course.
I want to know, like, you guys' inspiration. Like, I looked at you, Chelsey. I see that you're a veteran. Okay, so thank you for serving.
Yeah, thank you for serving, seriously.
Okay,
It's my
so
pleasure.
I want to ask you, Chelsey, where your inspiration comes from, and then you, Stephanie. Again, you created a whole, like, this is your 9 to 5. So I want to know, like, where did you guys' inspiration come from to get into art?
That's a really good question. I really love people as much as sometimes they get on my nerves, and
Don't they?
and it's a beautiful thing. It's almost like an art in itself how people have figured out how to annoy people these days.
Jared.
And it's we're trying. I think we're all grasping for straws, trying to find ways to relate to one another because everyone seems so divided. At least in this country, in my opinion.
Yeah. So your inspiration is just to try to bring, like, I guess, bring a togetherness and bring the positivity in such a negative world in so many words.
Totally.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, it's actually really powerful what you were just saying because I'm inspired by very similar things. For me, it's all about just like spreading love everywhere with my art and basically bringing people together with my art. Because again, there's so much divide, like what you were talking about. So I think it's really cool that like we didn't really know each other, and here we are having similar missions.
Yeah. And the reality is, to that point, I mean, there's people that are liberals, and there are people that are conservatives, and people that are all over the political spectrum. And there is a commonality in art. People can find, unity together.
Exactly.
They can come together because of art like that. And what you guys do is extremely important. It's so important for people to support local art in their cities, wherever you're listening from, especially here in the Atlanta area, which I want to give you guys a chance to pitch to people where they can get your art at. We'll start with Chelsey first. Chelsey, where can people get your art?
Okay, well, right now I'm still in a startup stage, but you can contact me through Instagram at @CheruArts, and I will get back to you as soon as I can, and we will make some art happen.
Hey, one more time. What's that handle? One more time.
@Cheru_arts.
Spell it out, though. Just
@CHEUR_arts.
And do you do personal projects for people?
I will do anything and everything that is legal and not gross.
Okay. So, AKA,
Thank you for clarifying.
AKA, draw the picture, walk the dog, right? You'll do that for them. And Stephanie, where can people get your art?
Sure. I am also on Instagram. That is Stephanie Gentry Designs. And then I have a website, which is stephaniegentryart.com.
Okay, Stephanie Gentry Designs. And do you put how do people just reach out for projects? Do you have any limitations with what you do?
I'm pretty much an open book. Just again, kind of like what she was saying, nothing weird or gross. But I do I do anything from live events. I do contracted work. I paint scenes. I've done birthday parties, runway shows, red carpet events. I've also done illustrations for magazines. I was recently published in Life and Style magazine.
Yes, Steffi.
Good, congratulations.
You're so modest, but so talented. I love it. I love it. I want
She's
Jared.
boiling with ego there. Boiling with it.
Jared, what do you think about like a friendly competition between Chelsey and Steffi? Okay, and what if like they both draw us?
Yes.
Like the Power Pod, and we let our listeners vote. Like,
I love that idea. See, this is why I keep Randy around. This is
give me air five.
Yeah,
I like that.
So we'll do a competition.
pressure.
We love both of you guys equally, but in this
Yes.
competition, then we'll pick who we love the most after all that. So I appreciate you guys. We appreciate all of you guys coming on the air. I know Nicole's over there trying to sketch something. Nicole, she's like, you know what? I can compete with those two.
No, not at all. No, I
Show
doodled
it out.
it.
Show it out.
Oh wow!
Okay.
All right. We will put that sketch.
Something I do when
to be
I'm
published.
just doodling, I'm listening. It's not art.
Looks
That is
pretty
not
serious.
art.
Yes, it is.
That's pretty cool.
We will put that sketch. We will put that sketch in the competition as well. Nicole's sketch, Stephanie's sketch, and Chelsea's sketch all together. I appreciate all of you guys for coming on so much. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks,
and you know what? On the Power Pod, we're not afraid to change things up a little bit. Well, we definitely will have you guys on in the future, and we want to see these pictures. And I just appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. This is awesome. Thanks so much. And when we come back, we have Randy's Rundown.
The Power Pod on WSB Radio. Join the show at 800 WSB Talk or leave a comment using the open mic feature on the WSB Radio app.
I'm so glad that we had a chance to bring on some local art here on the Power Pod. You know, it's so underappreciated in the Atlanta area. I know I've done it in the past, as I mentioned before. I love supporting local art here in the Atlanta area, and it's so important, so crucial. What they do is an amazing thing. But you know what else is an amazing thing? Randy's Rundown!
It's Randy's Rundown.
Alrighty, guys. So Mr. Pudding Pop himself, Bill Cosby. Guess what, guys? He is extremely popular. We're in prison. And but guess what else? He looks amazing after weight loss. That's what the people saying.
Well, good for Bill Cosby. Maybe he finally found the audience that appreciates him after what happened with all the things that are going on. I still, have my doubts about what happened with Bill Cosby, but hey, you know what? At least he's doing better. What's next?
Yes, our T Swift fans. Hey, Tay-Tay. Alrighty, so Taylor Swift's You Need to Calm Down video, it has about 1 million celebrities in it.
Say it in the street, that's a knockout. But you say
This?
it in a tweet, that's a cop out. And
Cop
I'm just
out.
like, hey, are you okay?
I know Nicole's feelings on Taylor Swift.
Love it. Wow.
I don't
She
know.
needs to calm down.
I just don't get it.
The video is really awesome, though. It's like LGBT friendly.
Yeah, it's good for her for, finding something that she enjoys. I don't know if I like the political Taylor Swift as much as the old Taylor Swift. It's much catchier than the other song with the lead singer from, why am I blanking on
Panic
it?
at the Disco.
Panic at the
Brandon
Disco.
Urie.
Yeah, it's much better than that other song that came out. Hopefully this album is better.
These last two are a total snoozer, and I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, but this album better be fire, or I'm not a fan anymore.
You're gonna
Yes,
dismiss your
because I'm very
fandom.
disappointed.
Well,
Cool, she's talking about politics. Great. Like, I really think she's trying so hard. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I think you were saying something off air to say that she just wants to remain relevant in any way that she
Yeah.
can, and maybe this is her way of doing it. Got news for Taylor Swift. Any artist that gets involved in politics, you immediately divide half the country. The country is basically 50-50 when it comes to that. Be careful what you wish for. What's next?
Yes, so our big banks in Georgia, which is SunTrust Bank, okay, so they had merged with BB&T.
Yeah.
Well, True Lion, they're going to sue BB&T / SunTrust for trademark infringement over Truce.
Have you seen it? It is pretty close.
Very eerily close.
And I'm sorry, I've just gotten used to SunTrust Park. Truist Park, give me a break.
That doesn't sound right.
So
pretentious to me.
Yes.
Truist Park.
Truist Park.
I'll see what
I'm in
Truist.
the elite section at Truist Park.
That's
This is a
the
chance
peasant section.
finally for the folks over at Truist Bank, SunTrust and BB&T. Get a new name, get it right. Stop copying from a federal credit union like True Liant over here. So give me a break. This is a chance. Fix it now. What's next?
Yes, so our favorite murderer, not murderer, the verdict is still out actually.
Allegedly.
O.J. Simpson. So yeah, guys, he's on Twitter, and this is what he says. He's getting on there because he wants to set the record straight.
Hey, Twitter world, this is yours truly. Now, coming soon to Twitter, you'll get to read all my thoughts and opinions on just about everything. Now, there's a lot of fake OJ accounts out there, so this one, at the real OJ32, is the only official one. So this should be a lot of fun. I got a little getting even to do. So God bless. Take care.
You did that, Joe J. Actually, let me just say something real quick. Like, OJ, just how you feel about Joe Biden? I think that OJ, for 71 years old, he looks so handsome to me. He is so handsome. And that's all I got.
Handsomest murderer that ever was.
On that note, hey, you know what, OJ? Just be careful. Get yourself out of trouble. Keep playing golf. You've still got some money. You don't get yourself in trouble. Twitter is a place where where I could see OJ getting himself in big trouble. What's next?
Yes, so we're going to talk about animals. Anybody heard of squirrels, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's talk about squirrels.
They run
Guess
around
what?
town?
Yeah, little squirrel nut chipmunk. That's a chipmunk. Actually, so the Alabama, we know things happen in Alabama. The Alabama man fed meth to a cage attack squirrel.
Oh my gosh. Are you
Why?
What's next? Okay, so we've got all these animals that are trained to attack people. A squirrel? Come on now.
vicious.
Although I know when I'm walking around Piedmont Park here in Atlanta, man, if I get that side eye from a squirrel, I get a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
Those Midtown squirrels are crazy. They look at you with their big eyes.
Yeah, they're shifty.
Side
And right now, with it being the middle of summer, June week 3 like this, they're gathering, they're getting ready, they're eating fat right now. So gotta watch out for those squirrels. So you know what? I take it back. I changed my stance on it. I'm against this attack squirrel. I'd be scared out of my mind. What's next?
Yes, okay, WSB's very own. So, WSB Radio wins National Edward R. Murrow Award for the one and only Jamie Dupree 2.0.
Jamie Dupree is the absolute man. He is a mentor to me. He has been a light, a shining light ever since I've come to WSB. I ask him for advice on many different things, not just politics, but life in general. One of the things that I'm really proud about is I've just known him for so long, and we have a personal friendship. And what happened to him, if you haven't heard his story with him losing his voice, is just tragic. And for WSB to invest money and to create Jamie Dupree 2.0, which is his automated voice that you hear on WSB Radio all the time. He's the best reporter in Washington, an all-around good guy, dad, good golfer too, and he's just an all-around good guy. And I really, really am happy that he got this award. It's well-deserved. I read his notes every single night that he sends out to all of us here at WSB. Just a class act. I hope to be half the man that he is when I reach adulthood. But you know what? I'm getting the cue here that it's time for us to say goodbye already. Can you believe it? I feel like we had so much more to say.
We just got started.
But you know what? The great thing about the Power Pod is that we do it every single week.
Okay.
But what do we do at the end of the show, ladies?
What do we do?
We always put our hands in the middle.
Hands on deck, hands on deck.
Come on. We'll put our hands in. Be careful there, Tina. Watch your teeth over there.
Fell over.
Yeah, don't run into the mic over there.
Short arm.
All right, we're going to count down from 3. Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Power Pod!
We'll see you next week!